USS Cam Smith is ready to set sail, but which bay will he dock? Will it be Corpus Christi Bay? Will it be Galveston Bay? This, Joe Espada's thoughts on Altuve and who they sent down to minor league camp. Let's get going on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok, at Stros411 on X, Facebook, and on Instagram. Also, back to the bullpen on iHeartRadio, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Look, Eric, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making us part of your daily routine. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go ahead and check us out. And we're trying to get to 14,000 subscribers. Brett wants to get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of April. He's got some very high goals, like a lot of y'all want Cam Smith to be on the opening day roster. That's a high goal. So I think we want your help to get us to that goal as well. So thank you for all the listeners that have been here from day one. As we get closer to that 15,000 mark, thank you for helping us become what we are. And thank you, everybody. So I know that we've been talking a lot about Jose Altuve, about the switch to the outfield, and he did play outfield again today. Jose Espada did offer some comments about what it may look like during the regular season. Still not committing to anything yet, but this is what it could look like. And we'll go deeper into that plan. Cam Smith, he's playing pretty well. What did he do today? We'll talk about that a little bit later. But is he really going to earn his way onto the opening day roster? If you look at the Astros history, the answer would be no. But the way he's playing, he might just fight his way in. And there's the first round of cuts were made today. The most notable one was Jacob Melton. And it's not because the Astros don't think highly of him. It's just because he hasn't played and he's been injured. So, Brett, a lot for us to discuss. So let's go ahead and get started. I know that we have Altuve there. But before we talk about Altuve, Cam Smith, what another day, a bases loaded triple. This guy, he almost hit a home run today. It hit the top of the wall and bounced back in. He had 3 RBIs today. He's 4 for 7 on the spring training, 2 home runs, 4 runs scored, 6 RBIs, a triple, a 2441 OPS. It's just crazy to even say it. Like you're used to saying 1560 or like it's just crazy to even say that.
Now, hold on. Before we get too excited about that, it is 4 for 7. And yes, we are, cool your jet. So Eric, I'm usually the overly exuberant one about this, but Cam Smith is someone to get excited about, and why not, right? Because Kyle Tucker's no longer part of this team. One of the top 15 best major league players in all of baseball. And so the return we got on him is unlike any return we've gotten on any of our guys that have left, even Alex Bregman. And so you have basically rewards to reap. And I think this kid, and I want to get into it more after we actually hear what Joe Espada said after the game. But that triple was nearly another home run, Eric. But man, Jose Altuve, the ultimate team player. You and I have been talking. Will he play a lot? Will he play a little? Will they switch him back and forth, Eric? And Joe Espada basically said he's going to play a majority of his games in left field. He said this was really some of the clearest comments that we've heard from him. And here is his reasoning. He goes, I would like to leave him in one position for the majority of the games. The back and forth is something that I'm going to avoid. I think if we commit to left field, he'll get more starts there in left field than second base, unless something changes. If something happens during the season, our roster changes or injuries happen, we adjust to that. Eric, I think he has to be in this mode. And while a lot of people are questioning, if his defense is bad at second, how is it going to be better in left? You can't jump him back and forth. If he's learning a new position, he's got to get into a rhythm.
And I know that Jalen Johnson just put down, so Rogers and Dubon will share time at second base. He actually said that we don't know who's going to be at second base. I'm not ready to say it's going to be Altuve in left field. It's going to be Dubon at second base. I want to see what some of these other guys will do. You got Rogers. You got Guillermo. You got don't forget about Whitcomb. I know Whitcomb made another error at third base today, but he's somebody that could potentially play second base. So there's a whole bunch of options out there at second base. And he didn't rule out Altuve getting some starts at second base.
Right.
Alvarez could get some time in left field, and you have somebody else possibly playing DH or something like that. But what this offers is flexibility. And this is the first, unlike, he's still not committing to anything. That's the crazy thing.
He's not.
This is like, well, I just want to go out. I don't want to go steady. I just want to go on dates. I don't want to make this a serious thing. But we are on a date on this date, this date, this date. But this date, we may not go out. It's like that type of thing. But we're not committing to any type of relationship with Altuve in left field.
So are we going with the back in the 90s? I had a friend who had a Taco Bell dating system, okay? And he said on his first date he would take a girl to Taco Bell and he would get her like a bean and cheese burrito and some of the cinnamon twist, right? But if she ended up making it to a Nachos Bel Grande, he knew that she was a keeper. And so I'm just saying, if we're talking dates, we might as well go with the 1990s Taco Bell version of dating if we're going that route. And like you said, Joe Espada said he's not willing to commit right now. He wants to get feedback from Altuve. He wants to see how he's feeling. But what I like is what he says. Eric, we have a 2-minute clip of what Joe Espada said after the game. Let's let our fans hear what Joe Espada said about Altuve, Cam Smith, and Framber Valdez.
We want to start with Cam Smith. Oh, man. Pretty impressive, was able to do how, he's able to put some good swings, some good pitches, hit for power. Obviously, I actually like the pitches that he lays off. Pitches on the edges, waits for the right pitch, and when he gets them, he's not missing them. Pretty impressive stuff.
What did you think of Framber?
Framber was good, besides not covering first base, I thought he threw the ball really well. He used his breaking ball more today. And it was really good. Down under, he got some swing and misses. He got his sinker, he got his ground balls. So typical Framber day.
Wisniewski, how did he look?
I thought he threw the ball really well too. He had a little bit more of the fastball up in the zone. He nailed those a few times. Got some swing and misses. A solid outing. I like how he's missing all his pitches. He's being aggressive, and I thought he threw the ball well.
That ball to short left that Altuve charged, you think that probably was the shortstop's play with the wind blowing in, or how would you dissect that play that ended up falling for what was called a base hit?
For me, it's just more he's learning, how far he can go for a ball. He called for the ball. He's got priority over the shortstop, that's a good thing. We want him to, take charge. But I think he realizes that I went probably too far for that ball. So, that's what spring training is for.
For somebody that you feel like you can use multiple innings?
Like we did today, yeah. Just a good, he's got a really good slider. He uses against both of them. He throws a ton of strikes. I like what I've seen so far out of him.
That's basically what Altuve has been saying, is that he's got to learn his boundaries. Like, when does he know? When is it Pena's? When is it Myers? When does he need to back off? And so that's kind of the situation that he had today. But this is what spring training is for. This is what the growing pains are for. So I know that Espada said that he feels comfortable in left field. And as we check all the boxes, I think this is something we can all feel comfortable about. But it's all really early in the process. I don't want to commit to any of this without getting Altuve's feedback and see how this is developed. But this is just something to offer some more flexibility, and we'll go and continue this conversation next on the Locked On Astros podcast. Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. So, Brett, I know that we've been focusing a lot on Jose Altuve just because that's what the buzz is around camp. How is Altuve doing in left field? Is he going to be an outfielder? I remember at the beginning of camp, Framber Valdez said, no, there's no way I see Altuve being a left fielder. But the more and more time passes, it looks like he's going to be a left fielder. And so the question is, who's going to be the rest of the outfield? Now, Cam Smith, the way he's continuing to play right now, he may force his way onto the roster. The Astros might have to do something that they're very uncomfortable doing, having a rookie on the roster. But something that was brought up after our last show that we talked about it, yes, if they do lose that year of arbitration eligibility, but I forgot about the fact that if you have somebody that wins the rookie of the year because you brought him up to start the season, then you get an extra draft pick. So that's something to take into consideration.
Well, look, here's the deal. I think that is an important side note. Cam Smith does not make the opening day roster. I think Cam Smith starts in Double-A. I think he starts in Double-A, plays 12, 15 games, moves up to Triple-A. If he rakes and he goes out there, I mean, look at Dana Brown has shown a propensity to bring up guys very quickly. Jake Bloss, Zach DeCenzo. I mean, these guys had an appetizer amount of time in their leagues. I mean, Jake Bloss get Triple-A. So Dana Brown's shown that. The words that you hear out of Espada's mouth, everything you hear from the club about Cam Smith this is a franchise player. This is a guy that will lead your team into the next era. I mean, when Altuve retires, Cam Smith will be the leader of this team. I'm telling you, he's that good. And Eric, even if you lose that year because he comes up, here's what I think. You have a guy, and if you're that dead set on him, you sign him to one of these Braves type extensions when he's a rookie. Get him on the cheap, sign him for a long-term deal, buy out his remaining years that he has, that he's eligible, and control him for the next 7 to 8 seasons. And then you've got your guy. You've got the guy that you build around. And it seems like they really want him to play third base. Cam said he loves third base. He's got a really strong arm. He's a big body guy. He's, a lot like a Manny Machado. Your third basemen are typically taller, stronger frames. And so I think there's a lot of really good things. And I see a lot of negativity on our feed about Dana Brown saying how he's done horrible. Well, let me tell you, whenever Cam Smith starts selling out jerseys at Daikin Park, whenever Cam Smith becomes an all-star and one of the top third basemen in the league, y'all remember all those things you said, because Dana, this is his guy. And Wisniewski, I don't know if you caught that. Joe Espada today, Wisniewski, he's liking his stuff. I think Wisniewski finds that fifth spot in the starting rotation. Again, Cam Smith won't be on this opening day roster, but it is not outside of the realm of possibility that he comes up early. Who have we seen come up early and do good? Remember Yordan Alvarez? Remember what he did? Cam Smith can come up and do the same kind of damage. I think he would be primed to do that. And if he did, Eric, then watch out, league, because USS Smith is going to be landing in Houston.
Well, I think everybody sees what fantasy baseball owners see. Kyle Tucker is probably the 9th best player in baseball, fantasy-wise. I don't know if he's that in actual real life, but with his production, if he can stay healthy, he's a great player. But the Astros were not going to re-sign him. The Astros, not only did they get somebody play third base this year, not only did they get a starting pitcher, but you got somebody that could possibly be as good as Kyle Tucker. Maybe not with the speed, but somebody that has the power and everything. And like you said, he could be the next face of the Astros franchise. So I think, like I've said, for what the cards he's been dealt, for the winning, trying to rebuild the farm system. Dana Brown has not done perfect, but for what the cards he's been dealt, he's done pretty good this offseason to build this roster. Would I have liked another reliever? Sure. Would I have liked another outfielder? Sure. But there's financial constraints that he's under, and I'm sure they'll address these at the trade deadline. It's going to cost a prospect or two, but if somebody like Cam Smith can rise and maybe make his debut sometime in late April, early May, and become that guy, then you don't have to trade another Cam Smith-like player to go out and get a okay outfielder just to fill the roster.
So I want to address this real quick, because if y'all are listening, listen, you've got to get to our show and interact with us. Tej, I love your comments, and I want to address this because I understand you're probably thinking what others are thinking. He said, I'm a Cam Smith fan, but I wouldn't trust Dana Brown on trading him for a rental like Kikuchi this season. Let me tell you, Dana Brown's not trading Cam Smith. He literally traded a guy that he had for 1 year, and that was it in Kyle Tucker.
He's untouchable.
He has bragged about the 12 years of service that he has. They're not trading Cam Smith, okay? Every move is not equal to the other. Just because one happened, basically both things can be true. He can trade away prospects like Joey Loperfido. Love Loperfido. We were the first people to have him on a show, but Loperfido is not Cam Smith, and Cam Smith is not Loperfido. Cam Smith has a much higher ceiling, and mark my words, his career will be more decorated than Joey Loperfido. It's no slight to Joey Loperfido, but they are not the same player, and that's why they traded Joey Loperfido, and that's why they're going to keep Cam Smith. You can bookmark it, you can tag me, I'll eat my crow, but if I was a betting man on a regular basis and I lived right next to the MGM Grand, I'd be going to put my money on Cam Smith right now, because he has arrived. He does have a hit tool. He does have a glove. He is your classic 5-tool player. I'm telling you, this is going to be Cam Smith's ball club when it's all said and done.
I put Brett A. Smith there just because when you're talking, you just remind me of Stephen A. Smith right there talking. And so it just was like, I just had this.
Hey, hold on. This is monumental. David, book it, Brett. Look at it. David's being positive. I love it. See, if I can sway David into the positive realm, the always positive, always Astros realm, I think we're doing a good job. You know what? Honestly, though, Tej, I applaud your ability to have your own thoughts and opinions, and we welcome that. You don't have to think like us, but I'm always going to present my case. But, I understand your apprehension. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's why we have the best fans and the best audience in the entire Locked On Network.
Yes. So I know a lot of people will say, well, Jake Myers hasn't done much. Chaz McCormick hasn't done much. Well, it's still early in spring training, and these guys have somewhat of a track record, so they have something to fall back on. The Astros sent down a couple people that don't quite have so much of a track record. We'll talk about them next. We'll talk about also we're going to continue this conversation about who could be in outfield. But, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. There's no better place to get in the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to be in a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting, whether I'm backing my team for a late rally comeback or picking a player to hit a clutch three. I never feel like I've missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go ahead and check us out. And
Uh-oh. Eric,
got
you froze there for a second.
okay, am I
Go
back?
ahead. You're back.
Okay, well, Chaz and Myers need to go, but before they can go, you need to have somebody that can replace them. And Jacob Belton was sent down. He was sent down along with Tommy Sacco. You got Miguel Palama, Aaron Brown, and Jose Floria. They're all sent down to minor league camp. I think that Melton, he was limited with some back soreness, and he hasn't played in any Grapefruit League games.
Right.
So I don't think this is not surprising. They want him to get some regular at bats. They're going to start playing some of the regular guys a little bit more. So the Astros will likely bring Melton back in a couple of Grapefruit League games a little bit later this week. But he's part of the future, but not right now. The Astros want to see what they have. Let Jacob Melton figure things out in AAA a little bit more. He only played, 47 games last year? Right. So get a little bit more experience there and then see what he could do, improve that strikeout rate and their stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So they have 59 players remaining in Major League Camp. So there's going to be more people that are going to go down, and this is a part of the process. We understand that. I think the big battles will ensue between Rogers, Guillermo. I don't know if they both make it. Singleton, I think, makes it just because he's a left-handed bat. But you do have your quote-unquote position battles, depth battles. Will they keep 3 catchers? Will Cesar Salazar survive? I don't know that they keep him early on. I think maybe at some point they bring him up. The bullpen, who's going to make that? Okert is actually pitching really well. Someone mentioned that earlier. He has 2 outings where he has, I believe he's got 2 strikeouts in 2 innings of work. Again, your top guys right now for strikeouts would be Eric Getty. He's obviously going to make it. Blake Wyman, I think, has 6. I think he makes it. Forrest Whitley's looked good. He's got 2 Ks. Miguel Yola does have 4 Ks. He has given up 5 runs in 1 outing. He's a little shaky. I think Luis Contreras, we talked about him the other night, makes it. Bennett Salza makes it. Alex Santos is still a ways away. Okert. Rafael Montero can make it, Eric.
Brett is handing out roster spots to everybody. You get a spot. You get a spot. You get a spot.
I'm saying they could make it. Brian King, I think, makes it. I think Nick Hernandez misses the mark. But you've got quite a few guys, Eric. I think Miguel Castro is going to be a fun story. I don't know if you caught the MLB 30 teams in 30 days, but they did a feature where they talked to Walker, they talked to Alvarez, they talked to Cam Smith, they talked to Jose Altuve and Joe Espada. And, Christian Walker said he loves the fact that Perez Chica is here. And I think Perez Chica is going to make a difference in Jeremy Pena's defense. Jeremy Pena had a double today. I don't know if he's going to get much lift, but he does need to hit more long ball. Yes, I'm just saying, if Montero pitches well enough, he could get a spot. I'm not saying he will. It's like, you get a spot. You get a spot. Everybody gets a spot, right? Go Oprah on everybody here. But
there's 11 million reasons to give Montero a spot.
You're right. You're motivated by the money for sure. And here's the thing, guys, honestly, in all seriousness, if Rafael Montero, Eric, and I want to get your thoughts on this, if he can contribute, that's just icing on the cake, because last year he didn't. He basically got cut and got re-signed. I mean, what do you think about? I mean, do you think it would be good for the Astros to have Montero get some? Look, maybe he's good early on, and maybe he saves the life of that bullpen, and you save the young guys from having to come up too early. Because I think if he comes in there and falters, you're going to have to bring some guys up early, and I don't think the Astros want to do that unless guys are ready.
Well, I think that when they DFA'd him last year, he accepted assignment to AAA. He improved some things. So the Astros thought about bringing him up at the end of last year, but then they decided not to. So now they have this opportunity to, well, we don't have to bring him up, but if he pitches well to spring training, we are paying him $11 million. That's a lot to pay a AAA player. So if we want to see if he can produce for us, why don't we give him a chance? And if he doesn't, we got all these young guns that can come up and replace him. We just DFA him again and see what happens. So that's a likely scenario.
Eric's handing out DFAs. You're DFA'd. You're DFA'd. Everybody's DFA'd. Hey, according to this, Dana Brown, you're DFA'd. Jake Myers, you're DFA'd.
No, I'm okay with Dana Brown. I mean, I think he could have done some more last year during the offseason to shore up the rotation a little bit. But at the same time, you think you're 7 starters deep. You don't know what's going to happen injury-wise. And that's why you had to go out and get Kikuchi. And you had to trade to the players that you did. And that's what I'm worried about with this year. Yes, you have the starters. Yes, you have some positive notes from McCullers, from Luis Garcia, maybe down the line, Christian Javier. But you know how the season goes. You have injuries. And we don't really – I know we went out and got the Wazinski, but did the Astros do enough with the rotation? They have enough pitchers, but as we saw last year, you can never – and definitely the year before, you can never have enough. And so we'll have to see. But Dana Brown, one thing that he lacked on this offseason was outfield. And I think it's either going to make or break with Altuve out there. And which young gun is going to come up and save today? Is it could be Cam Smith? Is it could be DeZenzo, who's hitting well this spring? Is it could be somebody else that we just don't know about yet?
Yeah. And, that's the thing. I think Ryan Gusto, AJ Blueball, Colton Gordon. I think you have honestly, Eric, where I thought the pitching would be weak. The pitching is kind of under the radar strong, but some of it's strong on potential because you don't know how these guys are going to produce or how they're going to perform. Look, I think you have the upside of Arrighetti, learned a lot. He's taken more of a leadership role in the clubhouse. He still knows his place. I love Arrighetti having a big year. Hunter Brown, I think, has a big year. Framber Valdez, next year's his walk year, has a big year. Your top 3 guys are going to absolutely be shoving on the mound, throwing up zeros, missing bats. I think they're going to be bulldogs, okay? And I think with that, you're going to have a bullpen that is going to support in an offense that is going to support this bullpen so that when you get in, someone made this point earlier in the 8th and 9th inning, where you don't have to worry about putting Josh Hader or Brian Abreu in tough situations. You've got the offense to hit those home runs to expand the lead and score guys, across the plate. Something we haven't talked about that we may talk about later this week, and it could be a possibility later on, maybe the trade deadline. If the White Sox come off of their demands of 2 top 5 prospects, no, listen, if IF in all caps, bold, underline, if the White Sox come off their demands, which I think they will, if he's still with them mid-season, the Astros could make a play for the oft-injured Luis Robert, okay? I'm not saying I'm thrilled with the idea, but he would help immediately in the outfield if he can stay healthy the first half of the season. The only thing is, how much value does he have to other clubs because he's so injured? It is a risk, so you don't want to give up too much. You're not going to obviously give up Cam Smith as Tej so gladly. Like you said, he didn't want that to happen, but I'm just wondering if his value goes down as the season goes on and nobody trades for him. Can the Astros finagle a trade where they fleece the White Sox? And if he comes here and is a part of this lineup, Eric, he would be a strong addition to this lineup. He might have a resurgent or a resurrection. No, I am not trading Cam Smith for him, Steve. Mr. Velasquez, I am not trading Cam Smith for Luis Robert Jr. I promise you. I'm saying they're going to make some moves at the trade deadline, and we may have the White Sox guy on to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take something like, I believe they're asking for 2 of your top 5 prospects, and Cam Smith is untouchable at this point. I'm gonna go out and say that he's untouchable.
Right.
I would like to say Bryce Matthews is untouchable, but I think with the
100%.
way that the infield is stacked right now, I think that it may be hard to protect him. You can't protect everybody. I think that they would like to hold on to Yannick, but you can't protect anybody. So if you're going to trade for somebody like Roberts, it's going to take 2 prospects at least. And
2,
right
but
now, right now it's too soon because he has value as of right now because the season hasn't started. So now come June or July and he struggles a little bit, it's not going to like deflate the White Sox value. They're still going to want a lot. The problem is
no,
there's a lot of money attached to him, a lot of injuries, like you said. And is he the same player he was when he was younger?
well, you're right, and he is only 27. So look, I think it's a discussion worth having. Do I necessarily like it? Would I be excited about it? I would only be excited post trade if he produced and contributed, right? But that's the thing. Would the Astros be in a situation where they have to go after him? Does an injury occur or something like that? So we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been a great show, Eric. Great topics all around. Great discussion. And Eric, what are your closing thoughts, sir?
I just think that the Astros kind of got fleeced with the whole Justin Verlander trade the last time, trading 2 prospects and then him not performing with the Astros. They're going to be a little bit more leery with their trade. So, but guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Brett, what do we always say?
Go Stros.
All right, guys, see you tomorrow.
And no, we're not signing that guy, Tej. Stop it. Drew Gilbert is good. Drew Gilbert hasn't really